My dreams are worthless. My plans are dust. My goals are impossible. All are of no value unless they are followed by action. I will act now.
One of the biggest mistakes people make when they get up each day is that they open their eyes, but they never truly focus them. They don't ever take their list of 10 things and focus it to the one thing that matters most. There are times for complicated answers. There are also times for very simple ones. So maybe this is a moment, one of those times in life to focus and finish. Maybe today is the day to take back control. Maybe today is the day to focus on the one thing. And now, what if you got rid of maybe? What if today became the day? Now became the moment. Now became the time you made that personal change. Now became the time you improved that drifting relationship. Now became the time you brought life back into balance. We have 86,400 seconds in a day. It only takes one to make the choice. One to make all the rest matter differently. To go from where you are today to where you see yourself tomorrow. What changes? What becomes the difference? It all comes down to the same choice, made over and over again. Do what you know you should do. When you get up in the morning, two paths emerge. Be aware of both. One where you keep going through the motions. The other where you take each step with purpose. And that split path, A or B, changes your world. So I get that you're busy. We're all busy. What I'm curious about is if you're focused. What's the thing that matters most? Once you see it, everything else fades away. When you wake up and both paths emerge, start by controlling what you can control, nothing else. Drown out the rest. Remove the noise. Remove the nonsense. Narrow down the list to the one thing. Simply doing that begins to show you the way.
You see, like the laws of nature, the laws of gravity, the laws of physics, the true principles of success have been with us for thousands of years, and they've never changed. And these old principles, they're going to work for you, or they're going to work against you. Whether you're a salesman, an executive, an athlete, a coach, the head of a company, a parent, doesn't matter what you do for a living. But we're living in a crazy age, aren't we? An age that sometimes seems to be traveling faster than the speed of light, and so we're all looking for fast answers. We figure we have to have a fast, quick answer just to survive. We're all looking for elevators to success, for free lunches, for easy solutions. And in looking for this quick fix to our problems, we have become so blinded to the old principles that have always worked and always will work, that even though they are still right under our nose, we don't see them anymore, and so we think of them as secrets. Example, tiny pinholes, whether you put them in a piece of wood, piece of metal, piece of cardboard, doesn't matter what, and look through it. Removes all the blur focus from your eyes and gives you the most perfect form of vision known to man. You know, you almost do some of this when you instinctively squint to see something better. This principle has been known for thousands of years. 400 years before the birth of Christ, the Chinese were reading with an exact model of what you see me holding in my hand. The old principles, whether they involve gravity or nature or optics or success, never, never change. The most important secret of success that I had to learn the hard way is that life is a game. It's spiritual and it's holy, but it's a game. And you can't play in that game with any chance at all of winning unless you know the rules. Slight problem. While we were growing up, nobody ever taught us any of the rules. Not once. Not for 45 minutes did anybody ever teach us how to set goals, how to motivate ourselves and others, how to handle adversity when it hits us, how to use our time profitably, how to get rid of the bad habits that we acquire, how to accumulate wealth, how to handle stress, and so much more. And so most of us become spectators in the greatest game of all, pushed aside by the lucky few who seem to know what they want, and more important, who seem to know how to get it. Life isn't fair. Never was, and it's never going to be. You might do the work, somebody else gets the credit. You may work twice as hard as your neighbor, and you know you're twice as smart as he or she is, but you also happen to know that he or she is making twice the money you are. There are many times in life when we get a bad hand dealt to us. How do you play a bad hand when you get one? Do you hang on, refusing to quit, even though there's no guarantee you'll succeed? Or do you whine and you pity yourself because you are convinced that your problems are so much more terrible than anybody else's? Another secret, I'm going to hit close to home with this one. Failures always seem to act as if they had 1,000 years to live. Why? Because they have no confidence at all that they can handle today's challenges today. And how do they avoid ever challenging themselves? 100 different ways. Some of them drink too much. Some of them party too much. Some of them sleep 2 to 6 hours a night more than they need. And others spend endless hours doing crossword puzzles or jigsaw puzzles or sitting in front of that television set. Don't worry, they'll tell you. I'll take care of everything tomorrow. I've been around this whole planet a long time, and I've seen a lot of calendars. But I have never yet seen a calendar with a tomorrow on it. Never treat time as if you had an unlimited supply. None of us have a contract with life. About 2 months ago in Mexico City to about 12,000, I told them, there's no tomorrow, and you should have seen panic set in. They're all looking at each other going, no mañana, there's no mañana, there's no mañana. Almost started a riot. You've heard this 1,000 times. But try to live each day as if it's the only one you're going to have. And that's wonderful to do. But this other part you haven't heard 1,000 times, and it's just as important. And I would love to see all of you try it tomorrow morning. It is wonderful to live every day as if it's the only one you're going to have. But try this tomorrow morning and watch your life change. Watch your life change almost immediately. Tell yourself that beginning tomorrow morning, even when you crawl out of bed, starting with the people in your own family, and then people all day long, the people you work with, strangers you meet during the day, the person who waits on you in the stores, everybody you meet starting tomorrow, you're going to treat like you never treated them before. You're going to treat each one of them as if you knew a deep, dark secret about them. And the deep, dark secret is that they were going to be dead at midnight. Now, think about this a minute. If you met me tomorrow morning and you knew that at midnight, I'm out of here. you would treat me, I know you would, with more love, with more care, with more consideration than you ever normally would treat me. And what do you suppose I'd give back to you? You're right, exactly the same. More love, more care, and more consideration than you would have ever normally got from that person or from me. And if you did that all day long with everyone you met, and you did it the next day and the next day, tell me your life wouldn't change for the better. I dare you. And what would it cost you? Nothing. You're right. You can change your life with that one little principle. Another great truth from the past: if you want to succeed, you have got to learn to live with failure. Mistakes, blunders, defeats, you can't avoid them. But if you let them make you gun shy, so that once you get beat, once you get knocked down, you're afraid to try again, you're making a terrible, terrible mistake. Mark Twain, many years ago, wrote the story about this cat who one day, for want of something better to do, jumped up on a hot stove and burned his tummy. That cat never jumped up on a hot stove again. But you know what? Cat never jumped up on a cold stove either. So many times in life, experience can actually be harmful to you if it prevents you from trying again. Just remember that even the most successful lives have chapters of failure. And the only ones who never fail, we know who they are. The ones who never try. One more secret, and I pray to God that you remember this next week, next month, next year, as you keep chasing after those two very elusive butterflies called success and happiness. Failures spend so much of their time reliving their past mistakes or worrying about tomorrow's problems that they really and truly let this beautiful day, which is all we've got, get away. And Mr. X and Ms. X, wherever you are out there, don't you dare give up. You're too precious to lose. You just grab a life preserver. And just, if things get real tough, just remind yourself that if Mandino can make it, you can make it.
Your necessity will find a way. Focus and finish. Wake up.